Hello, my name is Ruben Valdez, and I'm going to be talking about the static and dynamic posture assessment that we did in class today, mainly dealing with the dysfunctions, the compensations, any underactive or overactive use of muscles, and what I learned overall while doing these assessments. First, we're going to talk about the static portion, static postural assessment of this assignment. So ideally, you would want to stand straight, and you would want to graph behind you, showing lines where you could outline the person's stance. You want to get the shoulders back, chest up, stomach in, pelvic tilt at a horizontal angle, and you want to get from the front, from the side, and from the back. So when I was doing the static postural assessment with my partner, I didn't notice much deviation or any compensation or dysfunction. I did notice a slight shoulder depression on her right arm, which also includes shoulder scapular depression, means that's inhibition or weak muscle contraction in the levator scapula or upper traps, and a lot more contraction in latissimus dorsi. Usually when you see these things, you want to avoid doing any overhead pressing or lifting on top of the shoulders because there's muscular imbalance in between. So during the static postural assessment with my partner, what I mainly saw was a shoulder depression. There wasn't much ankle deviation, nor there was a pelvic tilt forward or backwards. The neck was relatively erect. If there was anything, there might be a slight inclination forward, causing the extensors in the back of the neck to might be strained sometimes. But ideally, during the static postural assessment, that's mainly what we got and what I got. After the static postural assessment, we went on to doing dynamic postural assessment, dealing with the overhead squat, one-legged squat, and also the chest pull and back pull.
As demonstrated in this video, these are example of dynamic postural assessments: the overhead squat with your arms up and the one-legged squat.
For the squat, the overhead squat, there wasn't much dysfunction. There was not a lot of scapular retraction, which those were the prime movers to keep the hands over the head. And mainly to keep the hands overhead, she was using her synergist, which would be her latissimus dorsi right here, to hold them in place. She would lock her latissimus dorsi where the insertion comes on the humerus, and instead of using her middle traps and rhomboids to hold back the overhead. But other than that, she went down clean. Now for the one-legged squat, it is usually a difficult exercise to do, even for me. But when she would come down, even for me, you would go down with one leg, and since there was not complete balance, you would, contract the internal and external obliques to give you shorter distance and more balance and equilibrium while going down and coming up. Now for the chest pulls and back pulls, there wasn't really much disbalance during there. Unfortunately, we don't have to demonstrate it, but it would be pulling into your chest and then pulling away, pushing away. So ideally, that's what it was. Usually things that you can see there would be shoulder imbalance, one depression on the other side. Pelvic tilt could also help. So if you have a pelvic tilt inward and your stomach pulls you inwards, you might not be able to get full push or pull when you're doing the presses. And mainly overall, that is what I got from these static and dynamic postural assessments.